Hi, this is Marlon. Normally, I'm either recording, writing music, or making videos, but when I'm not doing that, I like to make custom guitars. And this is one that I've made recently called the Apocalypse Coffin Body Guitar, with the four horsemen of the Apocalypse, Grim Reaper, and of course, I have the four horsemen of the Apocalypse on the back along with another Grim Reaper. And I decided to put better pickups on it, also put a Floyd Rose tremelo on it, put a switch, also put locking tuners, and there's my logo up there. And watch this video and you can see how I did it. And then at the end I'll show you how it sounds. And also please feel free to subscribe at the subscribe button at the bottom. Thank you for watching.
Unboxing the guitar. I opened up all the components and looked at them. Realized the instructions were very sparse. Also, there was no provision for a three-way switch. Also, looking at the parts, I knew that I definitely had to replace just about all of them. One of the first steps I undertook was to use blue painter's tape to cover the various body cavities and the neck in anticipation of sanding the guitar body and the neck. The next step was sanding the body and the neck using 150 grade, then 220 grade, and then 320 grade sanding block. I decided that I wanted a natural wood finish, so I used Tung oil and applied 6 coats and used steel wool to smooth it down in between coats. The decals I made from some designs that I found on the internet, and also I used my logos. I put them on a special decal paper using an inkjet printer, and then I applied about 5 coats of crystal clear enamel to set the decals. The decals were cut out. Locations on the guitar were determined. The decals were then applied to the guitar and the neck, and the air bubbles were removed. Once the decals were dry, I then sprayed the entire guitar with a water-based polyacrylic protective finish. Used about 2 to 3 coats of this, and also went ahead and drilled the holes for the various guitar compartment covers. I used wood glue and some clamps to glue the neck into place, and it's very critical that you make sure that at this stage that the neck is straight. I was not happy with the original tuners, so I bought a set of locking tuners, put them in place, and then tightened them with a ratchet wrench, and then I drilled holes and secured the retaining screws. At this point, I drilled some holes and screwed in the truss rod cover. The kit did not come with a three-way switch, so I drilled a hole for a three-way Les Paul style switch to be put in later. Fat Pat boutique humbuckers were placed and the wires were tunneled to the electronics compartment. Holes were then drilled and the humbuckers were then screwed into place. The kit had two generic volume pots, so I had to buy a 500K volume pot and a 500K tone pot for the humbuckers. Using a wiring diagram for two humbuckers, a volume tone, and a three-way switch, the wires were soldered to the various components. Soldered the green wire on the pickups to the three-way switch, soldered and taped off the red and white wire, soldered the black and silver wires to the volume pot for ground. Wires to the input jack were soldered into place, and the input jack was then screwed into place. The Floyd Rose tremelo system that came with the kit was quite flimsy, so I replaced it with a new one. Holes were then drilled for the spring claw. The posts were set in their holes. Then the Floyd Rose tremelo bridge was installed. A ground wire was soldered to the spring claw. The three-way switch volume control and tone control were fastened to the body, and the knobs were then installed. Pickups were tested using an amplifier and a screwdriver. Once the electronics were checked out, the electronics cover and the back tremelo cover were screwed into place. Holes were drilled and then the strap locks were screwed into place. The guitar was strung, and at this point it was sent to a guitar technician to set up the guitar for string height and intonation.
This is Marlon again, and I've tuned it with my Korg tuner, and I've also had the intonation set up by a guitar technician. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my song Media and demonstrate how the various pickups work and sound. And I'm running it through my Fender Frontman 25R amplifier. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.